Hello, my name is Salmeron-Serrano, and I am based in Cypress, Texas, near Houston. I am originally from Spain, and I have been asked to join you for a few minutes and talk about wildlife photography, specifically the artistic aspect of it, which I find to be exciting and very challenging, but I love it. So here we are. Um, I have to tell you that I've been in photography for a long time and only started to take it seriously when I joined the former National Geographic Your Shot. And after that, it's been a frenzy of studying and practicing with the help of courses through Kelby One and really learning from curators and critics at 100 ASA and 1x.com. It is only more recently that I started to be active in social media. I have 3 Instagram accounts, and that is for macro, wildlife, and travel photography. I also have a Facebook account, and here I am. So let's talk about art and wildlife. So the first thing I would like to emphasize is something that I did not believe in initially, or more than not believing in, I didn't think it could be possible, is that the artistic side of photography starts right there in the field when you are in front of your subject and you start to quickly think. After several times you practice, you start to quickly think about focus on the eye, look at your subject and make sure that is well isolated from other wildlife or other elements that you have. Make sure your background is good. Make sure that you have contemplated different positions, angles, points of view, that you have looked at the lighting. Where is it coming from? Where are you in relationship to the lighting? So many things come together, and then you start to envision what is it about it that you really like and how it's going to turn up at the end. You can see it right there actually, or you can imagine it, and then of course there will be changes as you go on later on with your editing. So we go home, we go to our computers, and we start to look at all the pictures in the thumbnails. This is how I like to look at them first, because it's interesting how sometimes you see things in the thumbnails that you say, this is interesting. That is the strength of this picture. This is what I saw. Let's look into this further. You do your basic editing, of course. All of us use common platforms, Lightroom, Photoshop, Nik Collections, Topaz. But we have to use those carefully, in my view. In my view, we need to use them to help us enhance the beauty of what we see, not to create things that were not present at the moment. I don't like that in photography, or I don't like it for me. So I think about the picture. I remember what I saw, and I start to work very hard at trying to enhance what I want. I'll show you some pictures, and I think that would be better to go through this short journey of showing you what I like doing. So the first picture is the one of a hawk, and the next one of a great egret. And those two to me represent a moment. This is really a moment in wildlife that is memorable, that is something that touches you. I had never seen a hawk in my backyard at a fountain and seemingly looking at a colorful flower. Probably a coincidence. It turned as it was going to take off, but there it is. The great egret, we all know how well they display beautiful wings. But in this one, it appears as a ballerina, a romantic pose, and the background is the water. The next two, you're gonna see wildlife, and the background is not as blurry, it is more detailed to an extent, and you can see how it blends with the subject. The butterfly specifically, the color, you can see echoes the color of the flowers, and I took advantage of a diagonal way in which the plants were positioned to create a more appealing visual effect. The next two, you're gonna see the backgrounds, or the next three, you're gonna see the backgrounds more of hints of the environment. So the colors are important. The blurred background is important to me, but you have to be careful. I have to be careful with the colors because I want to enhance with them the beauty of my subject, but I don't want them to compete with my subject and therefore take the eye away from what I want it to go to. I seldomly use black backgrounds, but in the case of the peacocks that I took these pictures in Austin, Texas, they're so majestic, these birds. You would agree with me that they don't need anything else. So I thought that using this style of editing was to the advantage of bringing that beauty to the viewer. Black and white photography, I don't do much of that in wildlife. I don't convert it to black and white, but sometimes, like in this last picture of the heron, it is a helper bringing the attention to what I wanted, which is basically to look at the gesture. A heron about to go into the water, very closely going to the water after spotting something. It was like a frozen moment, and the lack of color, if you allow me, it helps brings the viewer to that moment. So those are just few examples, and I hope we can have more time next time to discuss photography in different aspects in wildlife. But until then, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.